You know what's crazy?
I need to get that set up, bro.
What's that?
The
back here?
outfit. The doctor's
here?
outfit.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I got this from Amazon, man. It was like, I don't know. What is it? 10, 12, 15 bucks.
Dude, you can walk around hospitals and get free lunch anytime you want now.
Probably could. Yeah. That'd be cool. I look like a cardiac guy, you know.
Yeah, I love that.
I got the old heart checker thing, and I probably ought to put an ink pen in here. I got a little heart here too. See this?
Oh wow, man, I love it.
Hey, would you lend me your ear? Okay. All right. So,
all right, you ready to rock and roll here? All right.
If anyone wants to pick my brain, it's kind of small. Okay.
I feel like it's a bunch of dad jokes. I'm gonna have to get these for my son.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Well, welcome to this Creative Real Estate Live podcast and episode here with Dr. Justin Chamness. So, Justin's a friend of mine. He's in the lease option world, and I'm here to pick Justin's brain all about pretty house wholesaling. He's a master in this. There it is. That's his brain right there. And he's wearing his surgeon's outfit, his heart doctor's outfit right there, because, you know, we got to be a professional in this business. Look at that. You got the heart right there. Justin, man, welcome, man. Lend me your ear.
Yeah, what's going on? Hey, thank you for this opportunity, Brandon. I'm really grateful for it. Thank you.
Well, I've known you for a while. I'm actually a member of your VIP group.
Yes.
And I've made some great connections there. You have a wonderful group over there. You have a great system, a way to do pretty house wholesaling deals. And I'd love to jump in that. But before I do that, I just wanted to kind of see if you'd tell us a little bit about your background. You know, what type of line of work you did before you got into real estate, and what drove you into this real estate world.
Yeah, I'm a man that's had 1,000 jobs.
Me too.
Yeah. I've been fired from several, and I've quit the rest. And it's just, I don't know. In certain ways, I feel like that's bad. And in other ways, I feel like that's kind of made me who I am today too. I started out as a young man wanting to follow in my father's footsteps. He is a minister, so I became a minister too. And I was pretty quickly unhappy with that. I found out that, you know, that's really a labor of love rather than a labor of prosperity. And so I wasn't making a lot of money, in other words. It was really tough, and I was wanting to start a family, and did start a family, and that, man, money was tight, and I was just like, you know, maybe this is not for me. Maybe this isn't what I was supposed to do. So I left there, and then became then began the long and crazy roller coaster journey of job to job to job to job to job to job. And I hated them all, you know. That's the thing. I hated them all. I've never really wanted to work. If that's okay to say, maybe other people can relate. I've never really wanted to work, and I've always looked for ways that I can make money that I don't have to, you know, check in or clock in, or, you know, be at the boss's behest, you know, like every beck and call. You know, I hate that. I mean, there's nothing worse than being a human and not having the freedom to choose what I want to do during the best times of the day, during the best days of the week, during the best time of my life, and someone else is going to order and command what happens during those hours. That's just insane to me, you know? And I'm just like, God, there has to be more to this life than this. And so at every job, of course, I found there was things I liked. And then, well, some jobs, there was some things I liked. Other jobs, there was nothing I liked. But there was jobs that I liked some of it, but eventually all of it came to a realization for me that I was just really on a treadmill, spinning my wheels here, making someone else money, while going nowhere myself financially.
Yep. I've been there. We've been there. I think a lot of us can relate to that.
I think probably everybody.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm just lucky enough, I guess I was raised with my dad being a preacher, that that's being a preacher. I guess, dad being a preacher is just rebel enough, that I guess it sunk into me that I didn't have to necessarily clock in somewhere and be there all day long. So eventually I realized, though, that I am a salesperson, and I've been, long story short, long story longer. I've been playing around with real estate since like 2001. My older brother, he was doing some lease option deals. I heard about it. He was talking about it. He made $3,500 right in front of me one day.
Wow.
In the front seat of his car. I was sitting in the passenger seat. Really blew my mind. I was forever intrigued. I was like, this is what I'm missing. See,
I didn't know it was your brother that got you into the real estate world. Wow.
Yeah, totally was. Totally my oldest brother got me involved in it just by being an example of it in front of me. Okay. Now he no longer really does it, but back then he had gotten a Ron LeGrand course or something. I don't know. And he had just, I don't know, started doing some lease options.
Amazing.
I was sitting in the front seat of his car, and he had a tenant buyer call and was offering $3,500 down payment option fee. And I was like, what is it? He got off the phone. He was like, I just made $3,500. I was like, what? Tell me, tell me. Because see, dad's a minister. He's not making a lot of money. I'm trying to follow at this time in the footsteps of him, and I'm not making any money either. And I'm like, hey, how do I make money? I can't, honestly, the quandary for me was I can't even, I wanted to be a preacher, but I couldn't afford to. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I wanted to be a teacher, and I was like, and I found out how much teachers make. I'm like, no.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I really was in search. I was a man in search of a vision, really. I wanted to be able to make money and conserve enough freedom in my life to be able to serve God.
Love it. I love that.
That's really what it all started as. Like back in 2001. I was like, if I can just figure out a way to make enough money to have enough freedom to serve God the way that I want to, then that'll be perfect for my life.
Now you have a kid or two?
I have, yeah. So I have a kid. I'm divorced once, remarried, have 2 stepkids.
Beautiful.
So, like the whole being a preacher and all that stuff has gone by the wayside for me. Like I guess
I think that just makes it more authentic, honestly, but that's me.
Well, maybe, yeah. But we're not here to talk about whether or not I should or should not be a preacher. But I at one time I was, and my whole problem was I needed to learn how to make money. Well, since then I've I've learned the ability to make money. That was the first taste of it when my brother's sitting in the front seat of his car. But since 2001, about 2005, I started really putting it together. I started doing deals, started getting leads. 2006, 2007, I've amassed 10 sandwich rental properties, sandwich lease options that are beautiful. Really, I'm super proud of them, man. I'm like this. I am a shining star, man. I'm rising, and look at me. I've got the portfolio of 10 properties, and I'm young, and I'm sexy, and I got all this energy. Who wants to be a preacher anyway? Forget that noise and go crazy. And, so a lot of things happened. I ended up losing all of those deals. And I sold all 10 in a package deal to another creative real estate investor in town.
Wow.
For a total profit of $1,500.
Just wanted to get out. Hey, sometimes you got to know when to get out, though.
Dude, I needed to get out because I was losing my shirt. I was losing. What was blowing my mind is I was sitting down writing checks for mortgages, into the 10,000s, okay, of every month. With these 10 properties, it was well over $10,000 in mortgage payments that I'm making directly to mortgage companies, and in the sandwich lease options. And then I had money I was collecting, but then when 2008 came around, people stopped paying the rent. Okay. Yeah. And that's similar to what happened recently with the pandemic, but they stopped paying the rent. And then after they stopped paying the rent, I'm still sitting down at the desk writing $10,000+ worth of mortgage,
Ouch.
and I only collected 7,500. Golly,
Yeah.
you know what, man? I learned how to wholesale lease options real fast.
Right, right. You became a motivated seller real quick too.
Yeah, I was like, I need to find somebody to assign this deal over to. Like, and I did. I was
You know what's weird is no, it's interesting that you have that experience, because a lot of investors that I've talked to, when you sit down talk to them, guess what? Not every time they've been winners. Not every time everything's went perfect and peachy keen, right? Most of the time we've gone through some hard stuff to get to a point where we know what to do now. And you've been through some of that stuff. So what's it like now for you? How's business going for you? What you up to? What's your focus?
Yeah. So to fast forward, about 2000, I quit the business, and then 2013, I picked it up again.
Okay.
I picked it up again slowly, trying to do some ugly house co-wholesaling, which is why if you listen to any of my content, you'll hear that come out sometimes, because I have a real fondness for it, because it's an easy way to get going.
I love that, because I teach my new students that, because it's almost zero risk and no money out of pocket for marketing.
Yeah. And the concept is simple. The process, the paperwork is simple. The title company ain't going to fight you. I mean, it's just really, really an easy way to get going. And so I started doing that, and thank God that worked for me.
Right.
It really did, man. And I learned a lot, and here's how I started. I started doing transactions. I was like, you know what? I was always the big thinker guy, I don't know if anybody that is listening to this, it can relate that you just like have these grandiose ideas sometimes. Well, I just really have them a lot. And my thought was as well, I'm going to do so much volume as a co-wholesaler that I'm going to charge a flat rate $1,000 per transaction to my buyers, and they can pay me under the table or above the table or at the title. I don't give a crap. And leave me off the paperwork. It's $1,000 slip. I did quite a few deals like that, because my deals were pretty cheap.
Yeah.
Compared to other people trying to co-wholesale, I'm pretty cheap. I'm starting out at $1,000. Flat rate. Hey, people like me. So I built a network that way. So it ended up working out good for me, because I ended up making a lot of friends.
Yeah. For $1,000, I'll send you deals. Yeah,
I didn't make a lot of money, but I made a lot of friends, and that kind of met a need for me, But then actually, they kept calling back and saying, "Hey, you got any more deals?" And I was like, "Hey, this is cool." And eventually, one day, one of the buyers that I was selling a deal to, he invited me out to lunch, and he said, "You're crazy." And I was like, "What do you mean? We're at Applebee's." He said, "You're crazy. I just wanted to tell you, I don't understand why you do what you do." And I said, I don't, what are we talking about? He said, "Well, you only charge $1,000. He said, these other guys are charging 10 grand a pop." I was like, "Wow, I know, but I thought I'd be doing a lot of deals." He's like, "Well, are you doing a lot of deals?" I'm like, "I'm doing a few deals every month." Yeah. He's like, "Well, charge me the right amount next time."
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So totally mind shifted me, man. And I made 14 grand off that guy the next time.
You made up for all the past ones.
Yeah. Man, it felt so good. Golly, it felt good, But I don't regret all that stupidity, because, it helped me learn the ins and outs of how the process works and all that. So like, I spent a lot of time doing that, but eventually I bumped up my assignment fees, and I was making some real money on some of these contracts. On some of them, I still wasn't making a lot and whatever, but eventually I realized that I'm kind of pigeonholed here when it comes to doing deals just in my local market. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to expand out of my local market because, well, one, I still have a fondness for lease options. And then number two, I'm not doing enough co-wholesale deals just in my local market to really satisfy me. So I wanted to get out of town and do some deals. So lease options virtually in this. So I went back and revisited the concept, blew the dust off of it, kind of went back to it, like, hey, how can I approach this time and be more smart about it? where I don't end up with 10 sandwiches and nobody's paying rent.
Yes.
So now I'm up till last year. What I did is I started a team back in 2016. I started some virtual assistants that eventually became partners. They were kind of like more than virtual assistants, even from the beginning, because these were really good virtual assistants. And I recommend that anybody that's going to spend any time and money buying virtual assistants, especially if you're going to be buying them to do an integral part of your business, like a closing or a real lead interacting. If they're going to interact with the customer or the lead, you need to have people that really speak great English and they understand the business, they understand the culture, they understand the various nuances that they might encounter in a conversation. And that's what I did. I got me a couple of those guys, and they were from Canada. Okay, I'm not saying that they have to be from Canada, but that's where I got mine from. I really enjoyed working with these guys. I learned a lot working with them. Okay. Did a lot of deals working with them. So had a good time with that. That came to an end at last year. Okay.
Okay.
So this year I am just me. And I've got the coaching club that I started a few years ago and it's going strong, but I'm just me. And so I'm just working solo deals. And I'm loving my freedom, okay? My house is paid off. I don't have any bills. I don't have any debts, really. I don't have anybody knocking at the door. Yeah, I mean, I'm just enjoying my freedom. I've done 8 deals this year so far, okay? I want to do 2 more. That's it. Okay, compared to what I was doing, which was in the 40 range. Okay, so I would be doing with the guys, with the team, I was doing in the 40s, but now I've done like 8 deals this year. I want to do 2 more. I've got one that I've got kind of lined up, maybe that might work here in the next couple of weeks. I don't want to talk about it because I might jinx it. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I know you're hitting some big ticket ones. That's what.
Well, that's an experiment. That's like a whole other thing. See,
got it.
See, now that I've got freedom, I'm not really working that hard doing the 10 deals. Okay, some of these deals they just fall in my lap, and I'll give you an example here.
Okay.
Here, just not that long ago, I had a wholesaler contact me about a property here in a suburb of Kansas City, and it looked to me on PropStream that the value of it in its current condition was about 235-ish. Okay, beautiful. It's just about 2,200 square feet, if I remember. Nice house. This was in a relatively not an old build community. So it was like, I think 2007, 2000 was when it was built. Anyway, it was builder grade. Okay. And I hope I'm explaining this in a way that makes sense. But so in the builder grade condition with just like normal Formica countertops and just the regular cheap ass trim and stuff that builders put in these houses, although it looks really nice, when you get inside and you take a real look at it, it's like kind of cheap stuff. So, and it's not granite countertops, and it's not, it's not the stuff people really want now. So, but in its builder grade condition, it's worth about 235. However, in the neighborhood is supporting sales of like ARV of like maybe 275 to 295 if somebody puts the countertops in, changes out some trim, updates some cabinets, some of the cosmetic work. I hope I explained that in a way that makes sense. So the wholesaler in town that got the lead thought this was a real hot deal, and he was like, well, if you run the numbers, the 70% rule on, let's say, the ARV of 275, well, he's going to have to get it way under 200 to make money, and that's not going to work. He's like, so for the fix and flipper, it's not going to work, but maybe if I contract this deal, I could find a landlord buyer. Okay.
Got it.
I've done it myself. It makes sense to me. I don't blame the guy for doing it. Unfortunately, he was unable to find a buyer. This lady is really upset about it, okay? But he feels an obligation because he's got a heart. He's a good guy. He's got an obligation. He wants to help her. So he ends up calling me and saying, hey, would you take a look at this deal and see if there's anything you can do? And I said, yeah, sure, no problem. So I took a look at it. Now, I believe their loan balance is somewhere around $226,000 at the time. So they even owned the property that long. They went out of it. They probably can't list it with a realtor for that very reason. And so I'm like, okay, well, here's what we could do. We could offer a lease option.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
A lease option. And here's what we're looking for, everybody. right? We're looking for a tenant buyer, but not only just a tenant buyer, but we're looking for a tenant buyer that has the vision, that can see that if I can come in here, put a little elbow grease, a little money in the countertops, a little this and that, when I go to buy, the house will appraise for $275.
I love it.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm seeing when he's describing this. So I'm thinking, wow, this is a great opportunity. Let me see if I can get this done. So I ended up pitching the lease option deal to them, and they accepted it. The loan balance is about 226. The current value about 235. So that would leave about instantaneously about 9,000 in equity. And then we ended up marking up the property to 245. Okay.
Okay.
Which would leave a $19,000 spread. The seller wanted $5,000 in cash. And this is the part I don't like. I don't want this. Okay. Because as a lease option wholesaler, I'm not sticking around in the deal to pay the rent. I'm not sticking around in the deal to pay the mortgage or any the purchase price or any of that. I'm assigning the deal, and I really, really desperately need to control this down payment question. I cannot be giving up a bunch of down payment to the homeowner because that's my payday. So, and when I say down payment, I really mean option fee. Okay. So I can't be giving a lot of option fee to this as down payment is how the homeowner will phrase it.
Because that's the assignment fee too, right? The option fee. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm really not wanting to give them anything. Okay. So I have some options here, right? I can negotiate with them maybe to give them more purchase price instead of giving them the loan balance of 226. I can give them maybe 235 and give them full price, and we can maybe just do no down payment. That could be an alternative. Yeah. I thought about that, and I was like, yeah, I don't like that because that kind of eats into my money too, you know?
Right.
So how can I set this up to not eat into my money, you know? And so I ended up, I have a strategy that I call the guarantee, but really it's actually something if you want to be frank about it, I've discovered it from Carlton Sheets. Okay. So has anybody ever?
Yeah. I think I used to have one of his programs. Wow.
Yeah. No. So I learned this strategy from Carlton Sheets program like a long time ago. The no down payment, the nothing down or no down program that he had.
Yeah. I had that one. Yeah.
And in the lease option section, there's actually a story where he talks about how to get out from paying option fee down with a homeowner. He's like, you got to learn to offer other consideration, other option fee consideration. He's like, for example, if you had a timeshare, you could offer that as leverage, or you could, like whatever. And then he says, or you could even maybe say, hey, we could actually pay the down payment, but we could reconfigure it to be a promissory note due if we don't exercise the option to buy, because we're going to give you fair price for the home. If we don't exercise, that's when you get the money. And I was like, ding, 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 ding. That's what I need to do on this deal too. So I got that that's what I call.
I'm writing that down. So you do a promissory note if you don't do the deal.
Yeah, a promissory. Yeah, Mr. Homeowner. So it sounds something like this. Of course, I'm not an expert at all things, but the homeowner will say something like, yeah, well, we're going to need $5,000 down. Mr. Homeowner, I understand you definitely want to see some skin in the game. That's correct, right? Yes, you do. Okay, well, I agree with you. We are talking about for the first month's rent and security deposit as well, right? Yes, okay. Well, with these people that we're installing into the home, their objective is to buy the home, and you really, really do want them to buy the home, don't you? Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Well, yes, we do. Well, then we want to make it as easy for them to buy the home as possible, right? Right. So I think what you're looking for maybe is a guarantee or an assurance that they are serious about buying the home. Is that what you're really after here? Okay. So I'm trying to take it down a notch from the money to really being an emotional quality here. Like, yeah, I just want them to be serious. Okay. So if they say yes to that, then I'm like, okay, Mr. Homeowner, I agree 100% with that. What if we were able to make that $5,000 a promissory note due if they don't perform? Is that something that is that a guarantee or an assurance that you're comfortable with? That would also allow them to have more room to be able to buy the home. Is that something we can talk about doing, or maybe not? Okay. Now, see, they've never considered that as an alternative before, so you got to give them a few seconds to process that.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
Yeah. So it's not going to work in every case, but I've done this more than a handful of times, and it does seem to work. I feel good about it because it came from Carlton Sheets. Okay. So I'm like, hey, this is not some, crazy, like illegal stuff I dreamed up. This is actually something that's been around for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to pay cash down. Okay. So you can have different types of guarantees or different types of assurances instead of cash. And really, as a lease option person, if you're into lease options, the better you get at that negotiation, just that one section opens up more deals for you. Okay. So
Right.
It's not so hard for me. It's way easier for me to get deals than it is for somebody new, because I can kick the down payments questions ass a lot.
Yeah. And not
Okay.
only that, one of the things that I learned from you just recently was about a week or so ago was, as you're collecting from a tenant buyer, on your assignment, you have it set up where it can be a promissory note there as well. Because sometimes they don't have the full money that you want down as an option fee from your tenant buyer. So you're able to create a cool little assignment that includes some of that verbiage and stuff, right?
That's exactly right. Yep. So if you go to shutupmoney.com right now, there is a link right there at the top that says free gift. And if you click that, that is my lease option agreement that I use with homeowners, and it's my assignment addendum that I use with tenant buyers. So you can go download that for free. You don't even need your email address to get it or anything like that. I'm not about that. So you can get it right there. But yeah, it's got an installment agreement and a promissory note in it, so the tenant buyer can give you monthly income.
Nice. Very nice.
Even in an assignment scenario. Okay. So in a sandwich, you would get that,
exactly.
but see, I don't want a sandwich anymore because I got burned.
Yeah. So now you're one of your big focuses now is lease option assignments, right?
Yeah. I love them. Yeah.
Now, a lot of these people listening in are going to be like wholesalers. They know what an assignment is. They've never done a lease option though.
Yeah.
So, they're usually dealing with the like distressed homeowners, the hoarder homes, the homes with cat urine and 50 cats. I've been to all those, all those crazy houses.
I hate that.
So these aren't normally those type of properties, right?
No, I hate that. I hate that, man. When you go to a house and you leave, like you need to take a shower right away because you feel
Oh no, I've had to strip down in the laundry room just to be able to walk in the house, and because it's just nasty, right?
Yeah, like animal feces all scattered around. Don't you love the ugly house business? God, it's so good. I mean, it really is. I love that.
You know what? Usually when I walk into that, I smell that ammonia. It hits me like I'm like, oh, it smells like money.
Well,
what do you got here?
Yeah, true. It smells like money. But lease option is pretty house stuff. So number one, this is what makes a lease option is number one, they need little or no repairs. It has to be very livable. Okay. Typically. Okay. Number two, the monthly rent can't be way crazy too high. Okay. Now I've got a student that's in the club that's done a few lease options and the rent's been like $300 a month too high. That's why those deals are hard to sell. Okay.
Yep.
Nobody want to do that. It's crazy. All right. Purchase price, 105% of fair market value. Isn't that crazy? Like I could even go beyond what the house is worth. That's powerful.
That is 105%.
That's bad. Woo. Yeah. And another thing too, I've been doing lately is I've been writing up these as the purchase price as the fair market value determined by an appraiser.
Yes.
Why not?
In fact, right now, because of the market's kind of going down a little bit.
Yeah. So, when the market, see, that's the thing too. This is a huge gold nugget, I think, because Nobody really talks about that. How do you do lease options in a declining market because the appreciation rate's not there?
Yeah. Do you put a value on there still? Do you put like this amount or less if the appraised value is less?
Yeah. So yes, if anybody that wants to goes to shutupmoney.com and downloads that agreements package for free, you'll see that in there it says that we make no guarantees, or that the price will go up or down, or it may go up, it may go down. We don't know. This is all a risk, and you're taking it. So, it's really true that you want to do lease options in an appreciating market, but in a depreciating market, you can do lease options. What about not charging? What about not taking the assignment fee off of the purchase price? You could totally do that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. People are like, well, wait a minute now, because I heard somebody say this to me. There's like, well, wait a minute. Who would do that? I mean, would they really give you 5 or 10 grand and move in and it not come off the purchase price? Well, my answer to that is maybe not everybody, but yes, there are people out there that will do that, because in the United States, drum roll please, we are 4 million housing units behind.
Wow.
People want to get their ass in a house. It's hard.
Mm-hmm.
If I can get in one and I have the option to buy it at 5 or 10 grand, that's the pay to play fee. I love to call it that. The pay to play fee.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Lease term 12 months or more, low or no down payment to the seller. We were talking about that.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And then on your assignment fee that you get from your tenant buyer, what's your goal you usually shoot for? Is it a percentage? Is it a number of months of rent times a certain amount, or?
I'm greedy a little, because I try to get 10%, but I'm okay with doing, honestly, 3% per year that I have it contracted for. So if I have a 1 year, 12-month lease option, then I'll really only want to go about 3%, maybe 5. Okay.
Yeah.
But then, like, per year, just add it on out there. Then the second year would be 6, maybe 8. Okay. So you can't get too crazy with it, because especially if you're playing straight daytime baseball, like you're not doing anything funny here, so you're taking whatever money they put down off of the purchase price. Well, if you're doing it right, that's reasonable,
one of the things that's interesting is I'm around a lot of different real estate folks, right? People with large teams and big offices and big overhead, right? Big payroll, big rent. How important is life, the lifestyle for you and your family compared to what? Yeah, because you said you're solo now. You're not worried about, having a bunch of employees or assistants and stuff.
I had, back in 2018, I had a brick and mortar office downtown Kansas City, Missouri, had staff there every day, was bringing on a full-time paid realtor, mint business, man, mint business. But golly, dude, what a chain around my neck it was. Like getting up and going there every day. I was like, this is another job. And I remember I hate jobs. I was like, I gotta get out of this. And when you start praying in the shower every morning, God, help me figure out how to get out of this. You've slipped up somewhere, made some shitty decisions.
Right.
You need to undo them. And one of those was that for me. I'm like, I would rather be the guy that works at home. And so now, honestly, I'm at home. I can smoke weed all day. I can, I can fraternize with the missus. I can go with her to the grocery store if I want to, or I can, whatever I want to do, it's really cool. And I dig that. So I never, ever, ever, ever want to lose that. Ever. That is, Patrick Henry in the Revolutionary War said, I know not what course other men may take, but as for me, give me liberty or give me death. That's about how I feel about it, man. I mean, really, like,
True
like,
freedom.
I need to be able to be at home and be me and be with my wife and my kids, my stepkids.
Yeah.
I need to be able to be available, but I also need to be able to make money and be the hero, you know? And man, there's so many people out there doing it, right? Like just tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of people. And they're working from home, they're doing a real estate gig, or they're selling makeup, or they're doing whatever they're doing, they're making money. And I was like, that's got to also be my story. I'm not going to be okay with still clocking in somewhere working for somebody I don't like.
Right. I see now that the market shifted, right? We're going to this buyer's market from a seller's market. There's a lot of wholesalers I know that have laid off staff, that have closed offices, that are pulling back on their marketing. Some are even going out of business, which is unfortunate because I think part of it is they don't understand that there's multiple ways to lock up a deal, to assign the deal, and you get paid.
Yeah, and there's like a lot of ways that you can structure this deal where you can go to the beach when you want, and you can tell everybody to eat your shorts if you want, like it really, like, what do you want? This has got to make you happy, right? And so you can design this that way.
You're preaching here. You're preaching to me because this is my I had a staff, I had a full office, I had 7 or more employees getting paid nice salaries and commissions. And I remember I did a flip, right? I remember this, did a flip, made a good chunk of change, and I wasn't even happy. I should have been doing cartwheels.
Yeah.
It was way more than what a teacher makes in a year.
Yeah.
And I should have been doing cartwheels, and I wasn't even happy. Yeah. I was like miserable because I was basically covering overhead, maybe taking a little bit of it home. And I'm like, what am I working for? Right. I'm working to keep other people employed.
Right.
And then now I love, like, we've been, we live in Arizona, so we'll go down to San Diego. We'll go down to Rocky Point, Mexico. We'll go up in the mountains, Pine Top, Prescott, Flagstaff, stuff like that. That's what we love. We love to be able to just be virtual, do some deals, make some money.
I love to sit on the couch, smoke weed, watch Netflix. Okay. You know what I mean? All day, every day.
Hey, I love the honesty.
Every now and then I get up and leave the house. No, for real though. I think what bothers me a little bit is that I feel like that's old school thoughts. Like old school mentality is get a brick and mortar, get a staff, have a corporation, have a business that's functioning even when you're not there. You're calling in, you're doing Zoom calls with them, you're whatever, you're always interacting with them, but they're out there kicking ass and you're building a massive empire. You're going to do hundreds of thousands of deals.
I think it works for some people, works great. I just know for myself, it's also, I'm blessed, Justin. Some of my friends here locally are literally like the millionaire next door.
Yeah, I know.
They're the guys that have that house paid off, like you're talking about how your house is paid off.
Yeah.
They don't have any debts or obligations. Their rental houses are paid off.
Yeah.
They live in a normal place, normal neighborhood. But guess what? All the wholesalers and fix and flippers around town come to them to borrow money.
Yeah. I hate it. I get hit up a lot too. I don't like it. Don't ask me to borrow money. I don't mind you asking if you don't mind me telling you no. Okay.
Can I borrow some money?
Maybe you.
I love it.
That's it. Okay. So I feel like it does work for some people, but for me, I'm just that guy that needs it to be really lazy and easy, and I want to be free. So the brick and mortar stuff never worked out for me. I tried that, and I canned that idea, and I never want to go back because, like, it was just a job, and I feel like other people maybe relate to that too, and it doesn't have to be this way. I really feel like I'm a part-time real estate guy, and I know that sounds like crazy because I'm full-time at it, but I'm kind of part-time, and I kind of like that. I mean, what's wrong with that? I mean, this is what I like to do. Like, I really want to do deals until I'm so old that I die.
It's not a big deal, right? And it doesn't. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, it doesn't take a lot of time, right?
No, not really. No, that's the thing is once you get a structure and you get some kind of a rhythm here with getting
Hmm.
leads and making phone calls, maybe you could slide in having those leads pre-qualified a little bit. You could slide that in there, but once you have a rhythm with that, it's really kind of just a numbers game and it's just establishing a rhythm.
Yeah. And I know some people are like, well, oh, he's only done a handful of deals this year, but you were doing a lot of deals. But also the thing is that people don't realize is really big with your community. You want your community, your peeps to do
Yeah.
deals, your peeps to win. So you're always helping them with software and automations and finding
Yeah.
shortcuts on things too.
Well, too, my group is kind of different in a sense, and my group's older. A lot of them are
Hmm.
my age and older, and so that's cool. I like that about them. Um, but in a way, they're kind of also like maybe a lot of them trying to get out of work, or trying to figure
Yeah.
out how they're going to retire in 10 or 15 years, stuff like that. And I kind of understand where they're coming from, and so I'm really my heart goes out to them. I want to spend time with them because they should have their house paid off too.
Yeah.
Like they should not have any debts too. And and I know that's a whole other thing. It's like, well, you get rich through debt. Okay, Robert Kiyosaki, I get that too. But also, Dave Ramsey's the other extreme. It's like no debt at all. I mean, okay, but for me as a person, like knowing my house is paid off and my car and my wife and my kids are paid for, and like
Hmm.
I'm God, like I really don't care if you think that I suck because I only did 7 or 8 deals this year. I really don't care because shut up. Like it doesn't matter. And really, I want to give that. If I could put that in a bottle and sell that, that's what the
Hmm.
shutupmoney.com would be. It would be. I just had a nice big long tasty drink of everybody shut the fuck up. I don't need you. And I know that
No, no,
sounds horrible,
I'm
but
not even. I'm not offended. I don't. I think people with the right mindset won't be offended, and that's the. You know what? And then if they are, guess what? Who cares?
yeah, well, that's exactly what I'm trying to say.
It's
But
almost to the point where,
yeah,
like we're in a cancel culture. So, in
yeah,
in the social world out here,
yeah,
and people want to cancel people for whatever. But
right,
what if you're uncancelable? What if no
right,
one can cancel you?
right,
Justin, you can't
right.
be canceled.
Right, I know, but like in yeah, exactly. Well, I get a lot of negative comments on YouTube and other places, and I'm straight up okay with that. I really am because I'm not trying to be everybody's cup of tea. Uh, I really, I really honestly mean that. That's why I charge $99 for the coaching club. Okay.
Wait,
Um,
wait, you don't charge 25,000?
I'd charge $99 a month, and then you get the course and everything with it, and so it's really like ridiculously affordable. But at the same time, I'm not doing that because I'm needing you to help me get rich off course sales or something. I'm just really, honestly, I'm a teacher. I feel like because
Mm-hmm.
this may be full circle. We maybe should close with that, but I I'm kind of full circle with this whole. When I started out, I wanted to be a preacher, teacher thing, and I've kind of that's morphed into this teacher situation with the coaching and the lease options, and me being kind of like just part time, but making a full time living doing lease options and co-wholesaling and real estate in general, but then also um, teaching other people. Like I really like it. I
Yeah.
enjoy it,
Real,
and
real estate's just a vehicle, right? It's just one vehicle out of 1,000 different hustles people can do. But what I like
yeah,
about you is, I mean, people don't realize this, and I want my community to know is what a great teacher you are. You lead a lot of
thank you.
role plays weekly. You help a lot of people understand how to do sales,
Yeah,
right?
thank you. Yeah. Yeah, I am a good beginner's guy. Like if you want to get started for real, I'm about probably the most entry level dude there is, you know? And I'm real. Okay. So don't let the price fool you. But at the same time, um, this is some pretty basic entry level stuff into what you do, Brandon, which is creative finance and seller carrybacks and wraparounds and being a transactional engineer. And lease options is a great entryway. It's a gateway drug for that.
In fact, I encourage a lot of my clients and mentees to do that first, because I feel like it's almost like the least amount of risk for them, and they can give the seller a lot more than what they can on a lot of other type of transactions.
You can give the seller almost everything they want.
You can. Yeah, it's crazy.
As long as you get that down payment down low enough, or your option fee to them, as long as you can get that low or no, and the house is in decent shape and the numbers aren't too crazy, man, you can home run that thing all day long, And that's what's so fun about it, is I don't have to be right there in the room with them. I don't have to go walk through no ugly houses. I don't have to carry roach eggs in my shoes and the cuffs of my pants back, the hem of my pants back to my house. And then,
oh no,
you know what I mean? God, have you ever seen that? I mean, have you ever?
Yes, no, dude, I have. You gotta understand, I've wholesaled hundreds. I'm not talking about a few, like a dozen. I'm about literally hundreds of homes, over 500 homes, over 600 homes. We did about 120 a month, 120 a year at least. But at the peak, right? But it was great. And that was all local. It wasn't even nationwide. It was just local stuff. And I went to a lot of the homes. And I remember I went to one house. I'm like, dude, this is horrible. Went to Home Depot. I got, those painter overalls, the disposable painter overalls.
Yeah. Onesies.
I got those. I got those. I got the booties. I got the respirator mask.
Yeah.
I got the goggles. Yeah. Literally, my eyes were watering. The smell was so bad. The neighbors were thanking us that they got rid of the people in the house, because it was over 50 dogs taken out, feces, urine, all that stuff. I mean, they had like those little cages that they keep the dogs in, two to three high, with over 50 dogs in the house. The one thing I also learned, Justin, in the ugly house business, is never open up a refrigerator.
It's bad. It's bad in a lot of places, isn't it? Yeah, they spill a lot of stuff in there.
But what I noticed about the lease, like I did a leased option recently too, and it was a really nice place and beautiful area right by where I used to live. Nice neighborhood with a pool across the street, community pool. It was clean. It was neat. It was smell good. It was painted, had nice carpet.
Yeah.
Nice flooring. It was nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I like working in the pretty houses because they're nice. They're pretty. They smell good. They look good. The pictures are nice. The people talk about them differently. They feel differently about them. I don't have to offer them rock bottom, what do they call it? Low balling. I don't have to low balling, anybody. That's really sweet too. I like that. But, I'm like I said, this whole, I guess if there was a theme to this was like, meet Justin, the laziest man in real estate. Probably, I've done like 8 deals this year. I'm going to do 10, I might do 1 or 2 more than that. That's really all I'm trying to do, but I'm making great money doing it. I have a lot of freedom, but I'm trying to take it to the next level. So in the club recently, I've been doing what I call the Giants experiment. And this is where I'm fishing for lease options.
I'm watching this.
Great, man. I'm glad. I'm having a great time doing it. I'm fishing for over $1 million properties. So in some cases, these are $2, $3, $4 million properties. A lot of them are along the coasts of the United States and some exotic places that we all wish that we lived, right? And so beautiful houses, and some are in Texas and California, Florida, so to speak, Alabama, Mississippi, other places that have coasts. And so what my goal is here, man, is if I can crack the code on doing these jumbos and then only do 4 deals a year.
There you go.
Yeah. Making more money, doing less. Making more money doing less. All right, so that might be worth more than $99. But At this point, I'm fishing around in the bread and butters, which is the $50,000 to the $650,000 range usually.
I love it.
And and that's where I recommend everybody probably get their start, because you will get yeses day one. Send out a text message to the for sale by owners. Hey, would you lease the property? As you know, it's already for sale by owners.
Mhm.
Would you lease the property and then sell it 24 months? Yes, no, maybe. Okay. Yes, you're going to get yeses. That's the most mind-blowing concept to me, is that this is how easy this business is.
I have a question for you. So let's say, and now this is all hypothetical, and I know people have used these type of scenarios before, but because you have knowledge that other people don't have, you have skills that other people don't have, right? Let's say if Justin absolutely had to come up with one lease option deal for $10,000, say you had to make $10,000 in the next 30 days, how confident are you that you can do that?
Absolutely confident. I'm 100% confident I could have a deal under contract within the first 24 to 48 hours. That quickly. Yeah.
Boom.
It would not be that difficult. And where I would begin is I would just simply, this is that old Robert Allen question. It's if I'm going to summarize, it's like, hey, what if we took your ass out in the woods and we stripped you naked and we gave you a briefcase that had an ink pen and a pad of yellow paper in it, and that's all you had. You didn't have any clothes, you didn't have any money, you didn't have anything but a pad of paper and a pen. How are you going to make $10,000? Okay.
Yeah, and that's the question. There you go. I'll give you some clothes though.
Yeah. So yeah, you don't want me running naked into the public library to use the internet there, but that's exactly where I would go, because you can't do anything without a cell phone and internet nowadays. And unfortunately, if you don't have a cell phone or internet, you're not going to be able to do this business. So I would definitely go to the public library or somewhere if I were in that situation. But as it stands, I have Wi-Fi at home, so that's good. And I would just basically go to Craigslist, and I would pull up the for sale by owners, and I would start messaging them the same question. Hey, would you, rent it out for 24 months and then sell at your asking price? Yes, no, maybe, something like that.
Yeah.
Or I would make it more personable, because it's Craigslist and you have to do them one by one, and it would go out like that, and I would get some responses. I guarantee you I would have some yeses. And if I didn't have any yeses right away, I would go over to the for rent by owners and I would start contacting them. And what I'm looking for is a landlord, just a mom and pop, or I'm looking for somebody whose house was for sale, but now it's for rent because they're in desperate situation with a payment. Okay.
Yeah.
One of those two. And in either case, if it's the desperate for sale by owner that's now for rent, that's going to be an easy conversation to have, because there's definitely motivations and pain points there. They're already open to renting and selling. Boom, I'm almost home. With the landlord guy, though, I'm going to have to be like, hey, listen, I am also a landlord guy, and I've got some tenant buyers over here that got some money that they could put down. Would you be interested in splitting it if I could present them to you for this property XYZ address? If the guy says, yeah, I would do that. How much money they got down? I don't know, man. I'll have to find out for sure, but it's looking like about 10K. Okay. All right. So you will end up splitting the deal with that landlord, but it's worth it. It's making money. Okay. So that would be a small deal, but let's say you did that and it was a 20K kind of an assignment fee, which would not be unreasonable nowadays, considering a lot of houses are in the $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 price range. So you could get, maybe 20,000 out of a deal and give him 10. You would keep 10. That would be a for rent by owner technique. And I've done that one in a pinch. And I've proven that out. So that's a great question. And I've proven that for rent by owner or Craigslist section out like that. You just have to be able to present it to the landlord and say, hey, listen, we could both make money here.
Right. Right. That's the cooperative. And by the way, for those of you that tuned in late, Justin's wearing his surgeon's outfit here, his doctor's outfit. With the stethoscope and the cardiac surgeon hat, and he's got a heart in the hand there. That wearing the scrubs. Why are you dressed up like this? Is it Halloween?
Yeah,
it is Halloween.
It's Halloween. I am dressed this way because it's Halloween, but also because we do talk about in this business, you're kind of like a doctor in the sense that you're looking for pain points. Okay. So you're looking for the pain points. You're listening. I got the ear. Okay. So you're listening. It reminds me, this sits on my desk year round. Sometimes you're talking to a person and you're talking straight to their brain. Okay. Sometimes you're talking to a person and you're talking right to their heart. Okay. That's where the money is.
Yeah. Get them to make decisions emotionally.
Yeah. So, it's all about finding out what that motivation is and if they're flexible enough or willing enough to talk about doing a lease and then selling. Okay. If they're open to that and you can get them to say how much money they want every month, you're almost done.
100%. 100%.
Yeah. You're almost done.
I love it.
Yeah. So it's a good business for a guy that doesn't want to work too hard. And that's definitely me.
And you can do it part-time, even if you had a job. So I know my first deal I did, I was still working, and one of my first lease option type of deals was a deal in my neighborhood where had the for rent sign, in the front yard. Yeah. No other advertising, no Craigslist ads or Zillow or anything like that, just that. But it's in Arizona, but the Sharpie marker was all doled out. It was all, you couldn't even read the phone number. So I had to go walk up and look at the phone number closely, write it down. Said, hey, I'm a landlord too. Can I help you fill your property? Did that way. So
that's awesome. Yeah. These deals are literal. I'm surprised it's not as popular of a technique as it is, as it should be, because these deals are literally everywhere. I mean, like it blows my mind when people are like, well, I have people who come to the club sometimes and they'll sign up for $99 a month and they'll say, after being in there a month or two, they'll say, well, I've been working this machine and I've got my first yes. And I'm like, well, then you just started working it this morning, because they're literally everywhere, man. I mean, literally everywhere. Like, all you got to do is find a pretty house that's either for sale or for rent already and just see if they'd be willing to consider doing the other.
100%. That's it.
It's like, how hard can that be? I mean, like, you're driving around looking for an ugly house. Shit, you passed up 1,000 pretty houses on the way there.
Yep. 100%.
All right.
Justin, any last parting words, any advice you want to give to those that are trying to bust into this type of investing, the lease option stuff?
Yeah, just do it. Just do it. And whoever you pick, you need to pick a mentor or a coach or someone to follow, someone to imitate, okay? Someone to copy, rip and steal everything they say and do and how they do it, copy it, and put your blinders on for 90 days. That's it. 90 days and do exactly what they tell you to do. That's really how I think I got started, to be honest with you. I really think that's when I got started. I bought a course by a guy named Justin Wilmot. Back in 2013. And I'd quit the business. I was all deflated and everything, if you remember the story. And in 2013, 2014, I bought a course, Justin Wilmot, and I studied that. I put blinders on. I did nothing but that. It was co-wholesaling. That's how I got back into co-wholesaling in that time. And it worked for me, y'all.
Yeah.
So, find what you like and then stop shopping.
And follow their recipe, right? Don't try to change the recipe. Just follow the basic recipe.
Exactly. So you can come to my club, you can come to anyone's club, but if you don't follow the recipe on the back of the cake mix box, you're gonna have a crappy cake. Right?
Now, how do they find you, Justin? Best way to find you?
Shutupmoney.com.
Awesome.
That's it. I'll see you there. Shutupmoney.com. And Brandon, I love you, dude. Thanks for being a part of everything that you've been a part of with the club, my group. You've imparted a lot of wisdom and good knowledge and nuggets to us all along the way. I'm really grateful for that. And now you've invited me to be on your show, and I appreciate that too, man. Thank you.
Well, thank you for participating. Thank you for all you do too. And feelings mutual. Thanks, Justin.
Great. I'm here for you if you need me. All right, man.
All right. Thanks, man.
All right.